name is Ahmad, and today I want to talk about today's world. Today, through this video, I will talk about globalization, the World Trade Organization, the technology and the effect on overall lot of topics, and the terrorism. So, we start with globalization. So, what is globalization? The term globalization refers to the increasing of interconnectedness and interdependence of countries and peoples to trade. What does that mean? You may ask yourself. Well, it means that more countries depend on each other. So, let example, if even if I am the biggest superpower to avoid troubles and making wars about everything or just having everything for myself, what do I what is the plan of the globalization? Let's say that everyone apports something to the global market, so nobody has like trouble trying to get something and avoid future wars. For example, let's say that let's invent two countries. We have this power, name it, I don't know, country A that has a lot of military power, a lot of good economy, but is running low on oil. And we have this second country that is not as powerful as the first, is on huge need of money, is a huge financial deficit. So the globalization, what it proposes is that our our potence, our country A, will give them a lot of money or whatever they need in change of their oil that they don't need that much because they are underdeveloped. So they do not need that much oil. So we're going to talk about the positives and negatives in each country, the developed and developing. We start with the developed. So, as I have mentioned before, the one of the benefits is that they have a lot of more markets, not only the local markets, you know that other markets can require their services, how you can call it like that, that their weapons, their money, their steel, gold, whatever you want, whatever you think is a service that another country may need. Gain more power because making these connections, you have all the people coming to share their goods to your markets. So even if it's global, it's still kind of the one who has the more power is that one that controls a lot of things. I think personally, I think is one of the biggest problems that this globalization confronts. That the biggest one is basically that controls the world. Well, it's better than having three countries fighting for the throne, but still, I don't think it's the best that only one ideology controls everything. It doesn't matter. Also, the developers can acquire innovation and brilliant people, thought care athletes from every else of the world. So you can, I don't know, get a lot of immigrants that, thanks to this globalization, acquire your view of your culture and the positive things that they see from your culture or your investors, and they go live in your country, nationalize, and do their innovations or find their medals on the Olympics, for an example, under your country flag. The negatives is that they can become too dependent to the recursos from other countries, being like pushed around for something in change of more, or being like pressure to do things. Let's put a real life example. Like USA has to do this whole thing of Israel and Palestine. USA is so like how can you obsessed with helping Israel? Not necessarily because they are fans of war criminalists. Is of course the Palestinian people has these Hamas that are terrorists, but let's be honest, neither Israel, neither Palestine is right on the whole, but Israel is very wrong what they are doing because it's the first steps of a genocide. It's literally a genocide. disclassify the people, treat them as cannibals, give them very bad quality of livings, and they justify that the Hamas is a super dangerous terrorist group. The point is that you say is so focused on Israel because if they lose that ally on that part of the globe, they basically lose the whole control over there. It's always think about related to power. For example, we have another example with the US because it's the biggest power of you. It's the biggest example of the negatives. I make I think the Saudi Arabia think that they defended that super family for their own because depended so much, they relied so much of the oil that they will do whatever it takes for say hating their own, that whatever it takes. So is I think that is the biggest negative of the globalization in the developing countries. In the developing, not the developed, we have the positives of this huge financial growth. So a lot of the streets and cities in general can grow bigger and restructure a lot of their bad infrastructures, etc. So the general quality of life for all kind of goes up because the transportation advances, they have better tech, better lights, better aqueducts. But sadly, because of this corruption that can sometimes arrive from this huge financial growth, it can lead to that there is a lot of inequality. Also, that can happen that there is a lot of the erosion of the culture. What do I mean by that? I mean that the investors is ironic because it's a positive for the developer, it's a huge negative for the developing. Everybody thinks that the superpower is the greatest place. They live super good over there. Is the food tastes better, the water tastes better, whatever you want to think is better over there. And they live. They think that I don't know, Korea, the South Korea is super good. They think Japan is the perfect utopia, but it's not like that. Every country has troubles. And so people don't face it like that because the culture becomes too eroded without their values, their money, their investors. They only see the best of them. But when they go live over there, they may see this not like that. Also, it can happen a lot of level exploitation because you have to make up the mark for a lot of these materials for the potential. So we go with the WTO or the World Trade Organization. I researched it and I put the the core objectives of the WTO, and as this name says, is very simple, is to promote a safe trade between countries. Like, for example, trying to resolve cultural or ideological disputes for just trading. Solving these things. There are rules, there are agreements like these tariffs, like these yes, tariffs from going to this port to this port. There is a tax you have to pay, an input you have to pay, and actually this it changes from country to country the law. So it's a lot of how do you call it bureaucracy, a lot of papers you have to read from plane to place, and the countries must respect these rules, or there is no more trade. Also, talking about these memberships, the World Trade Organization has like, well, has like, no, it has 164 members, including whatever major economies you want to think about, the US, the China, or the European Union. But there are also things that are 26 observer countries. What is an observer country? A country that is not member of this organization but has like contracts. So let's say, I don't know, imagine country C. It ain't part of the trade of country A and country B. That is the whole organization. Let's say country C will can make an agreement with country B to share them another resource they absolutely don't need, nobody needs, and they need that, then change it, but they are not affiliated to neither A or B. They're just C over there, observing things. So the integration was established in January 1 of 1995. That replaced the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, the GATT. Well, now let's talk about the digital revolution of this whole technology. It has. Oh, wait, I forgot something very important. I know I was missing something. Now I will talk about how I feel the importance of this organization is. I'm sorry for my mistake. So I think is has a really crucial role, being kind of honest. Without this, the trade will be very complicated because even if it still amazes me, but the people still to this day fight for things that are really irrational, like religion or all these things. I think everyone should believe on their own thing and leave the other be. No, it's pretty simple. But it this organization ensures that the trees are really safe, promote these rules, so not everyone goes and does whatever they want. Obviously, this is not true, but the superpowers don't really care too much about the rules. But these rules obviously helps to ease up things, make them simpler, make them easier, avoid really simple troubles, for say them in a kind way. And yes, that I think that is could also be a platform for dialogue to solve the countries. For example, I think this organization has helped a lot between the relationships from the UK and Ireland because the these two countries have a huge crush over the time. So yes, I think the WTO is a really good organization and really get his job done. Now let's go back to the digital revolution. So the digital revolution has been a huge boom over the few years, and you can see about the AI that a lot of people use today, not only students but professionals, and mostly for anything you may think, a silly thing like thinking about who is a better player in terms of statistics in football, Thierry Henry or I don't know, Maradona, whatever you want to think. So obviously this has some advantages and some disadvantages. Let's start with the advantages. It gives you a huge access to information. As I've said before, you can think of whatever thing you want and it will be there on the internet. A little parenthesis, I also think this has a little disadvantages that you can find literally everything, neither good or neither bad, neither true or neither false. Is double-edged weapon. Also, we have this increased productivity. As I have mentioned, this AI think is a lot of simplifying these things, like tasks that I know that are really necessary, like let's say, for example, uh, a resume of that is filtered A to C. An AI can do that in what, 4 seconds? A job that a human that is really tedious, really long, and it, even though it's necessary, I do not think that the exclusive tax is their whole payroll. The human can use this as a tool. It's important to know that this should remain as a tool, not a job displacement that I will talk about later, that disadvantage. But yes, it's increased a lot the productivity. And also, the internet provides a global connectivity, as I put it over here. So I can talk from Here in Mexico, to my friends in Colombia, it makes it really easy. So also it helps to what change data from side to side, not only silly things like me talking with my friends. It also can provide huge information from news around the world. Let's say catastrophe has a earthquake happening in Japan. So with this internet, the news will get a lot faster in literal seconds. In if that happened like what 50 years before, it will take a while to get. So the help will get there later. Even though sadly, a lot of this help can be retained by the how could you call it the different governments, but as we have seen with this huge storm that struck Valencia, even if the government had abandoned them, thanks to this global connectivity, we have seen the real truth that the government have abandoned. Without that global connectivity, a lot of these things remain as theories and not the truth. So, as I said, it's a double-edged weapon, but it's still very useful. Now, disadvantages, the privacy concern, that literally all the time you are being watched, you are being stolen your data. Is the whole business of why many sites are free. That's why Instagram is free. That's why Facebook is free because they sell your data, who you are, what you like. They know everything of you. Hell, I even think they know more than you most of the times you know yourself because the algorithm is trained by billions of persons and is trained by the whole of the things you say. And with this generative AI that thinks, retains, searches, and learns from you, you can see the change from the AI in 1 year. 1 year it passed to be like generating a person, a video, it looked like a horror movie because it made no sense. It had more arms than usual, whatever you want. And today, I have seen that most of these AI videos are really hard to difference from each other. Well, not really hard, but you had to look at it really close, take attention of the detail. Before that did not happen. So yes, it's really concerned that this AI now can know everything about you. And although it makes your life simple, you're paying the price with who you are and what you like. Now, there's also this problem, this digital divide or polarization. We have seen through the internet that because of this huge rate of social media, that the polarization has grown absurdly because now the people are more tended. It may sound exaggerated, but I generally think it's true. A lot of people is more exaggerated and ready to even kill someone if they think different to them. Now, you will tell me that this has happened through the course of history because yes, it's true, but it now is beginning to grow and grow and grow and grow. It's the era of the hate of he doesn't think like me, he's instantly an enemy. It's not like when you have a family reunion that when people talk about politics, they fight, but at the end, they remember their family or they are just people with different point of view. Now, through the internet, they see each other as enemies. You are either with Israel or Palestine. You are not with who wants to stop a genocide. No. If you are with them, you are a genocide. If you are with Palestine, you are a terrorist. There is no good. There is all bad. No, neither good, nor neither bad. And we got to the job displacement. Although this might seem a concern, I don't think it's as big as the two before, but yes, is very dangerous because a lot of people can get kicked out of the jobs. For example, like if you make robots that like know how to what do the accountability of Tesla. Let's put an example. Tesla with those whole AI model, it will get to a point in the future that the AI can do the whole financial account for the whole company. So you do not need any workers in the accountability area. So you kick them all out. And with this corporate greed, that's why they are also very focused on that because at the end of the year is cheaper to maintain a robot that doesn't have feelings, doesn't need to eat, doesn't need vacations, than a human that needs all of the before and even more in one of the cases. So yeah, there are these advantages and disadvantages. Now we go with the terrorism. I think it calls for itself. The terrorism is a horrifying way to export your message. It always have this kind of, let's be honest, it's always political messages, but it's also disguised as religious, ideological, whatever you want to call it, but it's at the end it's all politics, all things about power and ideas that one man has, and all of these men of the picture follow most of them because some of them, I'm pretty sure some of the ones that are on this picture are kids that what were literally taken out of their village when they had like 3 years, and these guys were their mentors. So now going back to the main topic, tech helps or disadvantages the terrorism. Now, before explaining that, we might add that the tech, I think the advantages of this side can also make part of help of this side if the terrorist group is financed or make it by a government. So let's put the example of Iran or Iraq. I think it's Iraq that has all these terrorist groups under their control. And even though they are not a superpower or neither a big power because they don't have a lot of resources or whatever one, they are a military power because of this terrorist. And they use this to, you do not want to get on the wrong side of them, so you have sometimes to make the how could you call it? Do you have to suck up to them? If I could say, you have to like make them happy so they don't bomb your towns or kill your people. So if this terrorist group is financed by a government, they also had they could have a equal firepower. So if it's financed by a government, erase this from the help that has counterterrorism because they will have the same and sometimes even more, depend of the country that is fighting the terrorism. So tech helps us with the propaganda. How? Because they espouse their message. Because they say that these people are animals, this government is hugely bad, they kill their cows, whatever they want to call it. They also, with this propaganda, recruit more members. With these members, through the internet or forums, they plan the attacks, go, get out the trucks, and do horrible things. Because the whole ideology of the terrorism is that the people is so scared that some of they don't want to go work anymore. They they just want peace, and as the people want peace, they had to sadly make them happy. Is the whole point of it. And also they boil down with help of technology because they can see them coming, they don't have to expose themselves to explain their message, and also the whole thing that makes the terrorists of the guerrillas very hard to catch is that they are not centralized. For example, let's say this is their leader. You kill the leader, or you capture them, or whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't even matter because it's just the leader. There is someone behind, or there is a lot of these guerrillas or commands of combos or whatever they're called around. They're very hard to catch. Now, tech helps the counterterrorism with the surveillance because they can watch how these groups operate, evaluate them. Also, the AI could help to see the patterns of these groups, how they attack, and know the signs that they may be acting over some. They also can help to track these attacks. They to inform the neighbor countries about them. Like I say, this global collaboration. So let's say even it happens within countries that are enemies. Well, enemies. I don't think a country is an enemy or another, but let's say, for example, USA and Russia. And USA warned Russia that some terrorists will blow up a concert the next week. They wanted them, even if they are not allies and are more enemies than allies. They did warn them because the war against terrorism is a global war in theory. And they also have a superior firepower thanks to the tech because they have drones, tanks, sniper rifles. They have a lot of superior firepower only in the case they are not financed by a government. So yeah, I think that will be all for today. Thanks for your attention. Bye bye.